No good deed goes unpunished. I mean, as business owners, we feel a responsibility, desire to give back to our communities as part of our jobs, right? It's kind of a holistic approach as we move through our careers. Whether you join Rotary, the Lions Club, volunteer at your church, synagogue, temple, work with a nonprofit, sit on a nonprofit board, or of course, coach youth sports. It's inevitable that somebody doesn't have an appreciation for the time you're giving, and it could cause some conflicts, or friendships get broken apart, and things that you just like. I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to lend my expertise to my communities to make it a better place for all of us. So, how does that relate to selling your company? Hi, everybody. My name is Keith D., President of Osage Advisors. Welcome back to our podcast, The Ins and Outs of Selling a Business, and this week's big hurdle. So, no deed goes unpunished. So, as a business owner, right, you're growing your business. So, as you grow your business, you start to add people, expertise, because you want to expand it, grow it, and build a team, right? A team is so important to a buyer, especially a PE buyer. So you bring in a CFO, you bring in a COO, you bring in a general manager, maybe a head of sales, and you have formed this team. And through that whole team, you've identified your successor. And you feel that person is the one you're going to turn the keys over to run this business, or whoever the buyer may be, whether it's a strategic buyer, private equity, whatever, as you decide to exit. But what happens if that doesn't quite work out the way you thought it was? And this is a situation that we've dealt with a lot over the years, and especially recently with a couple of deals we've worked on, is that you've identified this person, and as you go through the sales process, the buyer's going to want to get to know this person, and that could cause this person to kind of freeze up and recognize that, I'm not sure I want to do this. I mean, I like what I do, but I don't want that added responsibility. So as a business owner, you're saying, oh, wait a second, that's changing my plan now. And you develop a sense of anxiety or stress or resentment even to this person because it changes your plan, right? Now you have to stay on for post-closing, for whatever it is. It could be 1 year, 2 years to find your replacement. And that doesn't sit well. Or this person really wants to do it and is excited about it, but the buyer comes in and says, no, that we talked to this person, we've recognized they have a certain skill set, but they're not a leadership person. They're not the CEO caliber. So you get the same kind of feeling coming back to you. And like, what does that mean? It means, well, if you want to sell, we need you to stay on. Again, it creates that sense of stress, anxiety, and a concern and sometimes resentment from your perspective that this person that you selected is not acceptable. And these things have happened more often than not, right? And then the third one, which is which does happen a lot, which is very distressful for folks like you, like business owners, is that the individual that you selected wants to do it, but money's money, and money changes people's mindsets, and they think now they have leverage, right? Now they have leverage to work with the buyer to get things that may be outside the norm of a transaction or norm of how a employment agreement is structured. So they're trying to use that leverage to their benefit, to your expense. Hey, I don't want to harm you. I want to get the deal done, but they are harming you because they're making it very difficult. So, typically what happens is when the buyer is good with this person and they say, look, we want to tie them up, right? We want them to be committed to this business. So they may have them sign an employment agreement, certainly a non-compete, non-solicitation. So they stick a contract in front of you, this person, and they're like, what's that? What do you mean? You need to have a lawyer. And they can't use your lawyer because that's a conflict. And most likely, they have only used a lawyer for a real estate transaction or maybe some estate planning with their family for their trust and estates. but they haven't used a deal attorney. So for us, what we do is say, hey, look, here's 3 or 4 other attorneys we've worked with in the past, understand it, give them a call, see if you can form a relationship. They'd happy to walk you through the contract, protect your interests and whatnot. But more often than not, they call a friend or something like that, and they end up with an attorney who doesn't have deal experience. And this is where things could become a train wreck, is that they hire a litigator, right? A litigator is trained to do what? Is to be confrontational, be aggressive, in your face. And that's the last thing you want when you're selling your business to a buyer you like, who has the right value proposition, is that all of a sudden that this lawyer becomes very confrontational in a way that can upset the deal. So what do you do in these situations? How do you mitigate this? How do you prepare that person you chose for these situations? One is to provide them resources, right? As you said, look, you're going to be that person. You can't do it like at closing. You have to do this, significantly before, 3 to 5 years before. Is to identify the profile of that person, make sure that they have the skill sets to do the job, and if they don't, then you would provide those resources to help them get there. Analytical thinking, human resource skill sets, management, personality, all those things that you need to have. And there's coaches out there, there's consultants out there that work with these individuals to really help them become a leader, to take over the business. You can't just stick it all of a sudden, hey, here you go, right? Because it's a knee-jerk reaction from that employee that could be a negative impact. And when it comes to that person that's trying to, squeeze the deal to their benefit, first off, you got to keep it behind the curtain, because you don't want the buyer to see this, because that could cause undue concerns that could, have them retrade the deal, maybe put some on an earn-out, change things out. You don't want that. So you go to that person, and there's ways of handling that. First off is, and again, you can hire a benefits consultant, to develop a deferred comp plan to your key employees. So when you sell the business, they have a nice payday. You could talk to these key individuals or person that you're looking at as for like we call a stay bonus. So look, you stay on, I'm going to pay X today, X tomorrow, X down the road based on this. So they get a nice, quote unquote, pot of gold for towing the line, so to speak. And third, if it comes to it, and this has happened, is that you have a sit down, heart to heart. Hey, look, this contract's within the norms of an employment agreement. I need you to sign this. If you're unwilling to sign this, I'm going to stay on. I'm going to work it. I'm going to find my replacement, and you're out. We don't want that to happen. But in some cases, you have to put it to them that way to get them back in line, the total line, so you can get the deal that works for you and your family. Again, I'm Keith D, President of Osage Advisors. Thank you for being with us today for this week's The Ins and Outs in Selling a Business episode, this week's Big Hurdle. If you enjoy the episode, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the button below. Thank you.